Hi everyone, it's Paula from Honestring. It's 2 o'clock on Friday the 1st of May, and as promised I'm going to do a demonstration on my flower glass earrings. So bear with me while I goof around a little bit with the camera and hopefully get everything set up properly. I've set everything up in terms of doing the demo, and there will be a free tutorial available on how to do these earrings on my website for 24 hours, so you can access some written instructions for this as well. Hello Rosemary, so I'm trying to watch and see who else is going to be on and looking at this as well. So remember that everybody who watches and comments on this video today will go into the draw to win a pair of, or there's two pairs actually, of flower glass earrings that have been kindly donated by Liz from Creative Arty Facts. And they're her glass pieces that I'm actually going to use in this demonstration today. I've also got some other samples of the way that I've used these glass, or this technique in creating earrings, and you can see the ones that I've got on here today. These are from a different glass artist, but they're ones that I've created using the same technique. So I will show how these can be used in a multitude of different ways. I've got all my demonstration bits and pieces ready, and hi Dee, hopefully this all works really well. It's a little bit confronting doing something like this, so hopefully it all works well and you all get to see how to make a pair of these flower glass dangle earrings. So bear with me while I flip the camera and get ready so that we can actually start demonstrating how they're actually made. Hang on 1 second. Excuse while I just flip the camera over. Somehow, like that. Excellent. So you can see there I've got everything ready in terms of showing you how we're actually going to be making these flower glass earrings. So Andrea, the tutorial is actually available on my website right now. So it's, on my Facebook page. So if you go to Facebook Live, you'll be able to actually see this, and we'll be recording and saving this as well. This was, hi Sally Ann, this was a class I was actually going to be teaching at the Sunshine Beaters retreat this weekend, but of course with COVID-19, all of that got cancelled. So I figured it was a great opportunity to share how we were going to make these earrings anyway. So this is what we're going to be looking at today, is how to make these flower glass dangle earrings. And I'll sort of hold them at the camera so that you can see them. And the idea is using one of these flower pieces, some beads and a really simple earring wire to make these earrings. And you can use this to make things like flower earrings, the round disc earrings, some ceramic ones there that I've got to show you as well, another round one here also, and I've got a pendant too, which I will show you that one as well. And this is the idea of a pendant too that can be done with this. So first things first, we're going to do, we've got a little selection of what we need in terms of beads. So the number one thing obviously is a flower. So this is one of the flowers, as I said, from Creative Arty Liz, so Liz DeLuca up in Queensland. I've never met Liz, but we converse a lot on things like Facebook and Messenger, and I buy lots of lovely glass pieces from her. And she has these gorgeous flowers, and I've made these up into what I'm calling flower dangle earrings. So the first thing you need is one of those. And the trick with these type of earrings is using a really large earring hook. So you can see there, that earring hook is about probably 3.5 centimetres long. But the idea behind one of these is that it works really well with a piece that has a central hole. So where that central hole is, you can actually securely put in an earring hook into that one. So we'll be doing that. But the first thing we're going to do is start off with a needle and thread. Now, for people who are not beaders, beaders use a thread called Fireline. So Fireline is actually a fishing line, and in a 6-pound weight, this is the thread that we use, and it's a braided thread. So it's not like a cotton, it's like a fishing line, but obviously for very little fish. And we burn it with a thread burner. So that's my thread burner there. And for something like this particular piece, you need a fine needle. Now, my personal preference, those who know me know that I love a nice big fat needle, a size 10 usually. But for a piece like this, I tend to use a finer needle. So I'm actually going to be using a size 12 needle, because you need to have a little bit of a finer needle to be able to go through that hole. So bear with me while I just thread this needle. Hello Karen, hello Robin, it's nice to see some familiar names on there as well. And if anyone's got any questions, by all means pop questions in, and if I can answer them I will. I'm watching this on my phone upside down, and I'm also got it up on my iPad as well, so hopefully I'll be able to cover everything for people. So you can see there I've just threaded that needle now, and the first thing I'm going to do is actually hook this earring wire onto the flower. So what we want is this ball part of the wire to be at the back of the earring. You can see on a finished one here what that actually looks like. So the idea is that we thread it so that that comes to the back. So you thread from the front here, thread from the back, not from the front. So I'm going to thread that through that hole there like that. And just, hello Kim, I'm just going to flip that wire and wrap it around this glass. The gauge, I think the gauge is probably about a size 22, I think. 22 or a 20 gauge wire. So it's not a thin wire, it's quite sturdy, but it is pliable and bendable. And depending upon the hole in your flower, and this one's obviously a very tight one, I should have tested that first, it can take a little while to wiggle through. But you can see here, hopefully you can see with my hands there. Hello Sharon, I'm just bending that so that the ball part goes to the back like that. You can see that there now is at the back, and that the earring wire, and I will rebend that back into shape, is attached like that. So can you see now how I've got the earring wire bent into shape with the ball at the back? So that's now secure. And look, this is a really pretty, earring in its own right. But if you know me, you know how much I love beads. So my thing is I add beads to everything. So what I'm going to do is now add some beads onto this particular piece. So I've got my needle threaded, ready to go. And the first thing we do is actually poke that needle through the hole where the flower is and the wire. This is why you need a really fine needle, and that one is not fine enough, obviously, because it's still jamming a little bit going through. I'll get it in there eventually. Can't believe this, it's not going to go in. So sometimes you do need a little bit of a helping hand, so pliers can be really helpful in this circumstance. Hi Yvonne. The beauty of Facebook Live, it's not going to go through. Bear with me while I grab another flower with a bigger hole. And another wire. So of course, being a beader, I have lots of things on hand ready to go and ready to be able to use at any time. So I'm going to put that one aside, and I'm going to have to drill a little bit of a bigger hole in that one. So here I have another flower with a bigger hole. So same thing, I'm going to thread from the front through to the back. Look how much easier that one actually went on than the other one. Sorry, from the back through to the front. So that the ball is at the back. Yeah, I purchased these earring wires. I think I got these from Danny at the Whimsical Bead. So they're the sort of things that are readily available on places like eBay, but it's this big hook with a ball in the back is what you actually need. So Kim, the flowers come from Liz DeLuca at Creative Arty Facts, but lots of different artists will have flowers or round discs, but I'm using both Liz's discs and flowers in this demonstration today. So I've now got my earring wire attached with the ball at the back there, and I'm now going to start by threading through from the back of the hole right through to the front. And what you want to leave yourself is a really reasonable tail, sort of 15 centimetres of thread. For those who've just joined a bit later, I'm using Fireline in 6 pound with a 12 needle here as well. So I'm actually, you can see there under my fingers, I'm hanging on to that thread and tail wrapped around my fingers there pretty tautly, but I've also now pulling on that thread as it comes through. And what I'm going to do is pick up, and I've got in here some metallic beads in silvers. So I've got some size 11 beads and some size 15 beads. and I've got some little feature beads as well to attach onto this particular flower. Now, the idea is that they're random. You know, you really want to make it not uniform and a random selection. So the first thing I'm going to do is pick up a size 11 bead, a feature bead, and then a size 15 bead. So I've got all three of those on my needle at the moment. And I pull that through to the base of my earring wire, my earring flower there. And I'm going to skip over that size 15 bead and go back through the feature bead and the size 11 bead and go back through that central hole in that flower. You can see that now I'm actually pulling that really tightly there. I'm hanging on to that tail thread and I've come out through the back of my earring wire, earring piece. What we do now is pick up 5 size 15 beads. So those size 15 beads are going to be a little bridge that sits at the back of that earring wire. So I'm now going to go back through that hole like that. And you can see now how that's formed that little bridge just there on the back of the earring. And that's going to give us something to actually really pull tightly on as we add more pieces. I've now come back up through that central hole and I'm going to continue adding a size 11, a feature bead, and then a size 15 bead. So I've got all three of those on my needle now. Drop that back down to the center of our earring like this. And then skip over the size 15 bead again and go back through the feature bead and the size 11 and back through that hole to the back. So you can see now I've got two things added on there. And when I flip that over, I've now got this lovely little size 15 bridge that I'm just going to go through a couple of times, a couple of those beads, to secure that thread. I hope that's clear and people can see that. So I now come back through that central hole again, like that. And you can see now that's really starting to feel tight and secure. And I'm still hanging on to the tail on my fingers, but I don't have to hang on to it quite as tightly. Hi, Liz. Hope you love how your flowers are coming together. The next thing I'll do is pick up another size 11, a size feature bead, and then a size 15. And for something like this, I would use 9 to 10 feature beads. I've got a bit of a thing about odd numbers more than anything. And it would be that I'd have sort of, 2 size 4 mils, 2 size 4 mil bicones, a size 3 mil pearl, whatever sort of matches and goes well. And you can see there, I've just put that through and attached that back onto that thread bridge, coming through that center again as to the top, add on another size 11, a feature bead and a size 15, and it's just creating this really pretty little fringe that sits on the top of our flower. So I've added 4 of these so far. As I said, I'll start probably at about 9. You can see there I'm pushing that needle right through that central hole again, flip it over, go up through that little bridge. Hello Cheryl, hello Alex. Good, and Karen, some of my beading buddies are here too, which is great. I've got another one that I'll add on there again as well. So, and I've just chosen them a random selection. They were to go with the purple one that the hole wouldn't go through earlier, but they still match with this sort of orangey topaz colour as well. So I've got there some silver 4 mil pearls, a couple of gold coloured rondelle crystals, a nice grey matte pearl as well. Oh, hello Christy, someone who I buy my beads from, Beady Delights down in Lara. And come back through. Oh, hello Andrea from North Carolina in the US. I'm not sure what time it is over there, but thank you so much for coming and seeing me do this demonstration here. You can see there I've come through again. So now that sort of the tail thread is not as required now. You don't have to hang on to that as tightly, and we will remove that towards the end. But now I've got this really nice little fringe happening on the top of this flower. I'll still keep adding my little beads on top there. So this time I'm adding a 4 mil fire polish in the gold, and with those little silver
seed beads. Looks really good. Oh, Mary Beth is watching as well from the States. Hello, Mary Beth. It's lovely. This is what I love about Facebook and just the world of beading. It's not just here in Melbourne, it's worldwide. It's so nice to see people that I've met online and in person joining in for this. So thank you, I really appreciate it. You can see here, oh, it's midnight in North Carolina. Thanks, Karen. So that makes it even more special that you ladies have joined me from the States. So I've added now, I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 beads on there. Probably maybe 7, I think we'll probably do that for this particular piece. This is a little 3mm pearl that I've just added there as well. And that one now, same thing, a size 11, a 3mm pearl, and then a size 15 bead. And then I'm going to push that through, just dropped off. I'm going to push that through, right through to the back of this earring. Now, if you find that your hole, your central hole starts to become a little full and you can't actually get through, you can just attach onto one of these other existing fringes that you've already done, because you've already got a really good secure base there already. So it's not hard to actually just add that somewhere within your beadwork. So I don't know if you'll be able to see, but you know, I'm just attaching that one there through a previous existing fringe piece so that now has a home, but I can't sort of jam it any further into that central hole. So you can see there now, my little fringe is really secure on that earring, and I've now got a tail thread that I can remove. I just need to run through the thread a couple of times just to make it secure and tight. And this, of course, is the beauty of handmade. You just got to make sure that you can finish these pieces properly so that they're not going to come apart. So I'll just run that thread a couple of times through that beadwork. And now I'm actually just going to remove the tail thread with my thread burner here, like that. And I'm also going to remove my thread here. So there you go, there is one earring actually finished. And look, they don't take a great deal of time to make. They're pretty quick and easy to do. But you can see here how the beads have just enhanced and added to that particular glass flower. So there's one actually done. So the other thing I thought I'd show you is how to actually use, if you can't get those earring wires, you can use a ring wire like this. So this is a smaller disc, this one. This one is and these are called like wine glass charms or earring wires. And the idea is that that part there is what goes through your ear hole and then attaches and hooks that way. So with these little glass discs, and these come from Liz as well, I got her to make me, I think, probably about 40 of these in various colours of pinks. I love these ones, and I've used these in different earring designs before. And when I was thinking about this demonstration, I thought, oh, it's a great idea to show how to use a different type of wire. And this sort of wire obviously secures as well. So for people who don't necessarily like the bigger wire, like this one, they might like to use something like this. So I thought, well, I'll try this with these earrings. And these have worked out really well too. So you can see here, this one's got a little bit of fringe on it. So it's only got sort of 6 or 7 beads on there and that little round disc. And it moves freely on that ring. But of course, you've got the beauty there of being able to hook that onto your ear as well. So these are a nice, really simple little way to use some round flower discs as well. So it's exactly the same principle as what we did before. The only trick is making sure that that particular part of the earring wire is at the top, because that's what goes through your ear and comes and joins at the back of your earring. So when you're making them, if you've got are the discs lightweight? Yeah, they are actually. They're glass, so they're not very heavy at all. And you can use any sort of round disc. And this is where the beauty of these comes into it. As beaders, we collect things that, you know, often have holes that may not be at the top or easy to thread through. But anything that's like this that has got a central hole in a round flat disc works really well in this sort of a model. This is some of Natalie Peruzzi's ceramic discs. So this is a different style, but works really well as an earring also. So back to, oh, thanks Liz. I'm happy to show off your work. Glass is something I'm never going to make myself, so I love to support and buy glass from other people. Now, if that earring wire won't go through, you can actually just bend that slightly with your pliers. We can bend it back into shape after, but I just wanted to thread that through so it's on. And now I will just bend that back so that it's square again to be able to hook back in. Look, perfect, back to new. So same thing again, I've got my 6-pound file lined thread onto my needle, my fine needle again, and I'm starting from the back. So remember, we have to keep that little spike part to the top. So this is the back of our earring here. Go from the back through to the front like that. And this time I'm using a gold hook. So I'm actually going to add some gold seed beads onto this piece. Same thing, I'm hanging onto that tail with my finger and ring finger wrapped around. It's just so intuitive for me to do that nowadays. It's really hard for me to even explain. But yeah, you've got to hang onto your tail thread. Just sort of hold the disc gently in your fingers, and I've now got my working thread coming out of the top. So same thing, I pick up a size 11 bead. I've got some lovely little size 4mm, I think these were called raspberry Swarovski pearls. I got these from Linda up at Banjo's Beads. I love this pink colour. And I'm just going to add, same thing, add that onto my piece like this. Skip over the size 15 bead and go through the 4mm, through the size 11, and back through that central hole to the back. Now remember, we're going to put a little thread bridge on the back of this so we've got something to secure. So I pick up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the reason I do 5 is that I think 5 is a good number to have in terms of having something to grab onto when we need to bead through that and secure. It's not too obtrusive, it sits really nicely in the back of the earring. And we pick up then another size 11. I'll just bring those beads over here. A size, I've got some little 3mm bicone crystals there in pale pink, and a size 15. Pick that up, skip over that size 15 and go through the crystal and the size 11 and back through that central hole. Now of course I've got my nice little bridge at the back here. So I'm just going to thread up through a couple of times, a couple of beads in there to secure that. And then go back down through that central hole, back over to the front. So again, I pick up a size 11, a nice little 3mm Swarovski pearl there as well, and a size 15. And I think the pearls look really nice on this with that little dotted pearl edge on those round discs. That looks really cute on there. Same thing, skip over the size 15. I do hope this is easy for people to see. It's I did a bit of a practice. Thank you, Alex, for helping me do a practice earlier today so that you could see. So I'm trying to hold it and lean over so that you can still see what's going on. And then go through the back there as well, and not have too much of my hands in the way, but go through my central hole there. Or you can see there I just slipped through the 3mm. So I've now got 3, and I think on that other earring here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I do like an odd number for this sort of thing. Pick up those. So I've now got my 11, my size 4mm. And go back through. Thanks, Sharon. I love this sort of method too. Like my thing with this is I love to add beads to anything. I love clay and I love glass, and I experiment a bit with clay. I don't experiment with glass at all. But I love the thought of being able to add that little bit extra pizzazz with some beads. And beads just give an extra sort of third dimension, I think, to some of these pieces. And it's a great way to add and enhance to an existing glass piece. So you can see there that ring still moves. I've just moved that back around again. And I now pick up my size 11, a little crystal there as well. Oh, good. I'm glad you can see that, Jackie. That's great. Another crystal popped on there too. Go back through, skip over my 15. So now I've got 4 added on there, and I need a bigger pearl so that it matches the other piece. So I'm just attaching through at the back. Now Liz will have some of these discs available at her website, and that is Creative Arty Facts. And she, as I said earlier, for people who are watching and commenting today, we will be doing a random draw, and 2 people will actually win a pair of glass flowers themselves, and they can then make their own earrings with these 2. And in the instructions that will be available on my website, it tells you about where you can buy the flowers from Liz and some of the other pieces that I've used in what I'll show you in this demonstration here as well. So you'll actually get to see what type of hooks I've used in here and what sort of flowers, and you can download that tutorial yourself and then make these earrings. Or of course, if you're not a beader but you'd still like them, I'm more than happy to make them for you as well. So this one is almost finished as well. I've just got to check that I've got exactly the same on both. So 2 pink, 1, 2, 3 crystals, 3 pearls. Oh, I need to add 1 more crystal then so that it's the same. And go back through. So remember what I said earlier, that sometimes if you can't go through the hole in the center any longer, you can just attach somewhere on the top of the beadwork. This one, the hole is still reasonably free and easy to move through. But yeah, if it gets a little bit tight, you'll need to just sort of add somewhere on top of your beadwork. Oh, that's great, Michelle. I'm glad you're going to have a go at doing this. It's so exciting to see people taking up beading. As if you know me, you know how much I love to talk about it, teach it, show it, wear it, etc. So I'm so happy to see other people wanting to try this as well. And this tutorial, as I said, will be on my website for free for 24 hours for people to download. And I do have a range of other tutorials on there as well. So you can see there, I've now added that fringing onto that particular disc as well. Same thing, I'm just going to try and finish, I've caught it there, but it will come undone. I'm just going to finish that off. So run through a couple of those beads. It's really secure. Fire line is a sort of thread that doesn't break easily. It's a fishing based wire, so it's a braided thread, and it's really secure. Even though I'm using a dark grey thread, which is called smoke, it tends to go into the back of the beadwork really easily. And so you actually don't even really see that that's a dark grey thread in those beautiful clear crystals. So you can see there, I've now finished that off. I'm just going to zap that end off there and zap that end off there as well. And I now have, just clean my beadboard so that you can see, a pair of beautiful dangle earrings there with the discs, and I also have a pair of unmatching flower earrings there as well. Those ones, Liz sent me some samples, so I just sort of used the colours that I had there to make those. But of course, because they're single, the other beauty that you can do with these is make them into a pendant. So this particular one here I had was some beautiful glass from a woman called Sally Green, and it's a big glass blue disc there, and then I've added a little green flower disc on top. So same thing, I sort of bent the earring wire to fit that through, and then did a little bit of fringing on top, and I've just attached that to a chain. So that's now a pendant on a chain, which is a really simple and easy way to create a pendant, and nice and easy to wear too. So that's another option. The other idea is that, with some of these ceramic discs, so these are ceramic ones that come from Natalie at Peruzzi Beads. Natalie used to live in Queensland, but she lives in France now. So these particular discs, so they're about, 3 centimetres across with that nice central big hole in the middle. So on these, I did exactly the same technique, the little flower bridge at the back, the big earring wire, and then just did a little bit of bead fringing on the front of those. The other ones that I've got are these gorgeous glass sticks. And I got these from a lady called Maureen in the States last year. And these are from Pumpkin Hill glass beads. So these are like a little bowl and they've got a lovely hole in them as well. Same thing, I've just attached the earring wire to them, done a little bit of bead fringing in the center. Looks a little bit like a bird's nest, I think, but they're a beautiful finish on those ones. And then of course these were the ones that I was wearing at the start of the demo too. I'm actually going to keep these ones. I love how the colour, how these have all come together. It's got all my favourites, you know, a bit of silver and gold and rose gold in them on the big earring wire with that little bird's nest clump of beads. And second, gosh, I've even got my brother-in-law Marty McKinley watching this. Hello Marty, this is so, I feel very privileged. So that's my little demonstration. You've come right at the end, but it's nearly done, of how to make a pair of earrings using the fringing method and a large hook. So you can use the flower dangles, you can use ceramic discs to do that, you can use round beads, you can make pendants. It's just a really easy technique that creates a great piece of jewellery that is great for you to wear, or something that you can give as a gift or try and sell. So thanks so much everybody for watching. Everybody who has watched and commented today will go into a draw to win one of 2 pairs of the beautiful flower discs that Liz DeLuca has donated today, and I really appreciate and thank Liz for her support for that. I love using Liz's glass and other people's glass in my work, and I like to think that adding beads onto things is, you know, one way of actually enhancing it with beadwork but still showcasing the glass in its most beautiful format. I think I've been talking now for 32 minutes. Wow, I love to talk about beading, as you know, and I really hope that people have enjoyed watching this particular demonstration and seeing how to make them. As I said, the tutorial will be available on my website. It should be available now. I will go and check that it has, but I have loaded it there for people to actually download it, and you can access that for free, have fun, go for your life, and, you know, make these particular earrings yourself. Or, as I said, if you're not a beader, I'm more than happy to make them for you too. So as you can see there are the ceramic versions, we've got some glass versions, some disc versions here, and some flowers, and of course the pendant. So thanks everybody. I'm just going to flip that camera around. I'll take off my reading glasses. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. That was the first time for me to do a Facebook Live demonstration, and I will look at doing some more of these in the future if people really like to see them. I miss teaching, so it's a great way to still share what I love to do with beading. Thanks everybody. Thanks for the support. Bye-bye.